Hey, this is Kason. I'm just pointing out in this video Bernie Sanders, after his heart attack, he filmed himself just talking about his campaign, talking about Medicare for all, some of the things that he's pushing for. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel. I'll be coming out with a lot more videos on history and politics. But Bernie really, in this video, is showing part of the reason why he has such high appeal and why he's so popular in the moment.
Let me take this opportunity to thank people from all over the country for their love, their kind wishes, and I just can't tell you how much it has meant to Jane and to me and to our whole family. And I also want to say that I am feeling great. I'm getting my endurance back, and I look forward to getting out on the campaign trail as soon as possible. But let me relay to you just kind of an experience that I had lying in a hospital bed in Las Vegas after the heart attack. And I thought about a lot of things, needless to say, but one of the things that just went through my brain is what would have happened if I did not have the good health insurance that I have. I have both Blue Cross and Blue Shield through my job in the Senate, and then I have Medicare as well. So what happens if somebody had no health insurance, who felt the pain in his or her chest, or felt really sick, and said to themselves, do I really want to go to the doctor or the hospital because I don't have tens of thousands of dollars to pay for the medical bills that I'm going to incur? How many people are in that position? How many people have died because they don't get to the doctor or the hospital when they should? And it made me feel even more strongly the need for us to continue our efforts to end this dysfunctional and cruel healthcare system, which leaves so many people uninsured, underinsured, causes bankruptcy, lowers credit scores for people who owe medical debt. It is an insane, wasteful, bureaucratic system based on the greed of the healthcare industry. So I got to tell you that even as I sat and lied down in that hospital bed in Las Vegas, this issue of the struggle that we are engaged in just, permeated my mind. And I want all of you to understand that the day is going to come when 20 years from now, 30 years from now, you're going to be talking to your kids and you're going to be talking to your grandchildren and looking back and say, you know what, I was involved in that struggle that finally brought healthcare to all Americans as a human right. That's
Bernie is so good at staying on message. The fact that he had a heart attack and the first thing that he's talking about is how there's people that don't have health insurance and how horrible it would have been for him if he didn't have health insurance, how that was the number one thing on his mind, or one of the main things on his mind as he was in the hospital. Not only does he do well with that, but also making people feel like they're a part of something that's big, that's much bigger than themselves, and saying 20 to 30 years from now, you're going to be telling your kids and your grandkids that you were part of that struggle. People want to feel like they are a part of something great. And he's creating that narrative in his words there, painting a picture of a day where everyone has medical care and people can look back proudly and say, I was a part of that.
what we're trying to do. So be proud of the efforts that we're making, understand the enormous opposition that we're facing from the drug companies and the insurance companies, but we are going to win this struggle. History is on our side. Function of healthcare is quality care for all, not billions in profits for the drug companies and the insurance companies. And the other thing that I was thinking about as I lied in the hospital bed in Las Vegas is, yeah, I've had a rough week. I've suffered adversity, and that's true. And I don't wish anybody to have a heart attack and get scared the way, our family did. But let me tell you, as you all know, I'm not the only person in America dealing with adversity. A lot of people dealing with a lot more pain than I am. I mean, right now as we speak, in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, you got 500,000 people sleeping out on the streets of this country. Talk about adversity. What does that mean? To not know where you're going to be sleeping tomorrow night, not knowing if you can have food to eat. Talk about adversity is the mother that I met in Iowa, makes $10 an hour, is raising 3 kids.
Again, he makes people feel good when he says history is on our side. And to be honest, he's probably right. A lot of history books are probably going to speak pretty highly of Bernie Sanders. especially if society continues to progress the way that we have throughout history. He brings up the suffering of others, to bring attention onto that, talking of a mother that's struggling, talking of people that don't have homes. That's really his whole message, is helping the least advantaged in the country, helping those who have been struggling and who have been exploited.
How's that for adversity? Talk about adversity is the fact that so many of our people in this country work so hard and they're unable literally to pay their bills, and they're scared to death that if their car breaks down they can't get to work, worried if they're going to be able to pay their electric bills or their phone bill. That's adversity. And adversity is about young people in this country, bright young people who've done well in high school. They want to go to college, they want to get a decent education, they want to make it into the middle class. But you know what? They're wondering whether it's all worth it, because they're going to come out of college $50,000 or $100,000 in debt. And some of them will never get that higher education that they really would like. That's adversity, and that's why together we are going to make public colleges and universities tuition free. We're going to cancel all student debt. So when we talk in our campaign about these ideas, these are not abstract ideas, these are not academic ideas. The issue of decent wages, the issue of health care for all, the issue of making public colleges and universities tuition free, canceling all student debt, dealing with climate change, dealing with criminal justice, immigration reform. These are the issues that touch tens and tens of millions of people. And just because they're not talked about much in Congress, a Congress which is largely owned by campaign contributors, not just because they're not talked about in the corporate media, who try to deflect attention away from many of these enormously important issues. Our job is, despite all of that, is to stay focused on the real issues that impact the American people. And I know it's not easy, because this particular campaign, we're taking on everybody. We're not only taking on Trump and the Republican establishment, we're not only taking on the Democratic establishment, we're not only taking on Wall Street and the insurance companies and the drug companies, fossil fuel industry, military industrial complex, prison industrial complex, the corporate media that so often refuses to deal with the real issues facing this country. That's what we're taking on. But at the end of the day, if you're going to look yourself in the mirror and you're going to say, look, I go around once, I have one life to live. What role do I want to play? And that role goes far deeper than just defeating Donald Trump. Of course, we have to do that. It speaks to the need to create the kind of country that we can become, where people are working hard to serve each other, to understand each other. That is the country we can become. We really can. But we have to have the courage to take on some enormously powerful special interests. So that is what the campaign is about. So let me just conclude by thanking you all very much for the support you have given me in this difficult moment. And just to reaffirm, I am feeling really good and getting stronger every day. We're going to be out there on the campaign trail. We're going to be in the debate in Columbus, Ohio next week, and look forward to your continued involvement in a campaign which is going to transform this country and make history. Thank you very much.
Bernie bringing up that everyone only lives once and they have to decide what they want to have accomplished or what they wanted to contribute to in their life. It's something that's pretty powerful to think about. A lot of people don't think about their death and how, as they are getting closer to it, as they are reaching their elder years, how they're going to reflect back on what they did. Also, him mentioning the media is extremely valuable. In the book Our Revolution, that's something he talks a lot about, is the corporate-owned media. They don't cover a lot of issues that are important to the American people. They don't talk about Social Security very much. They don't talk about wealth inequality. Instead, it can be argued they distract people, and they focus on things that are only going to be good at the end of the day for their owner's bottom line. If you like the ideas in this video, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to constantly be coming out with videos on politics, history, societal issues, all that good stuff. Thank you.